Hello, hello, hello. How are you beautiful souls doing today? I will tell you the truth. This is my very favorite part of the week. I love doing the lives, all the interaction, all the conversations. I'm so grateful to be here with you today, no matter when you're watching this. If you're watching it, you have been gifted the present, the greatest gift of all, to be alive. It's something that we can take so easily for granted. This thing called life. Life. Have you ever been in a place where you had to just question, what is it? What is it all about? What is this life all about? Is it all about just being entertained? Is it all about being sad? Is it all about suffering? Is it all about barely getting by? Is it all about heartache, guilt, shame? Or are all those things necessary for us to truly understand what life is really about? What is it really about? Does it take going through phases, extended amounts of time of that state, of those states of suffering, in order to truly contrast the beauty of life, the gift of life? Where do you find yourself right now? You find yourself content? Do you find yourself truly fulfilled by the essence of just your being? Or do you find yourself longing? Do you find yourself wishing, needing, hoping for something to change, for something to show up? If you do, there's no shame in that. The most important part of existence is for us to have awareness of how we feel, to truly acknowledge it, and to know that it's okay. I think that's where so many of us struggle. And the struggle's not even exterior, the struggle's within. Are you struggling within? Because you're at war with yourself, because you're denying yourself the permission to feel the way you feel, to go through what you really need to go through in order to what? Heal. Healing is literally just getting back to a neutral state of being. Because it's like if you get a cut on your finger, right? It When it heals, it has basically sealed itself. Does that mean that it looks exactly the way it did before the cut was there? No. But the fingers should be just as operational, as long as it's not super deep and doesn't need tendon work. We're just talking about superficial stuff. But when we focus the look on the inside, the emotions, the internal state of your being, that is where people start to create these mythical creations like dragons and demons, and gotta go to battle with myself. I gotta go to war with myself. And I subscribe to a lot of that. I can identify with a lot of those types of slogans and sayings, having been in the military and gone through that. I definitely relate to that, but I can tell you throughout my own personal healing journey, which is ongoing. It's ongoing. I'm definitely going through one of the darkest nights yet throughout this journey. and some of the deepest healing work, which is the most profound. I'm getting to that, like these next levels within of really, really releasing and releasing. It's all about a release. It's to let go. If you've been hurt, if you have been hurt, which I believe all of us have in one way or another, in your special way, you've been hurt. Conscientiously, you do not realize that you're holding on to something that is causing you even it's causing you your suffering. What do I mean by that? You're holding on to the past, right? You're holding on to an experience that was way back. Maybe it was last maybe it was last night. Maybe it was last week, last month, last year, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 40 years ago. Maybe it was even 50 years ago. You're still holding on, right? There's an attachment there. There's an energetic attachment to a situation, and it's the way that then is seen in your life is it's an emotional attachment. When you think about that situation, when it comes up, when it gets triggered, usually negative emotions is what pours out. Even and a lot of it's usually the anger, the rage, the bitterness, wanting to wish death upon another person, or trying to just avoid it. Avoidance is a big topic that I'm going to be talking about today, because I think we're all avoiding situations in our life that we need to find some courage, some strength to be able to face these situations. I mean, you're basically avoiding your own shadow. You're avoiding your own reflection in the mirror. That's what the avoidance is. You're not avoiding some demon or final boss running towards you that you don't want to face. That's not it. It's literally your shadow. You're avoiding your shadow. You're avoiding your reflection in the mirror. It's yours. And yet we're so scared of facing our own selves that a lot of people that are the most afraid to face themselves are probably some of the most courageous people in facing other people's problems. They're like, I'm here, kicking down the door. Let me help you. But fuck me. I don't want to deal with me. As long as I'm helping other people, I feel good. Right? Which is, it's like, I've been there. I've been there. I've been that guy going out on natural disaster relief. We see a lot of natural disasters in the headlines, and in reality right now, they're ongoing. They're always going to be there. And I used to be a guy that would go and respond to it. And I know that in my heart of hearts, yes, I had good intentions. Like, I definitely love helping people. I'm here because I love to help people. It's an absolute part of my fabric of who I am. But I do know that throughout the course of my service towards others, there were many, 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 many times that it was a relief to get a call that someone's life was in total chaos and destruction. And can I go help? And I was like, fuck yeah. Heck yeah, I can go. I'm there. I'll be there. Fly me there. No problem. And I knew that it was literally an escape from my own situation. It was like, yes, perfect timing. I don't have to deal with my shit. Let me go help someone else out with theirs. Yay. And then you go and do all that. And it's really energetically, it's hard work when you go and see real destruction firsthand, right? The fires that have happened in Los Angeles, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, it's happening all over the place. Real destruction. And yet, so many of us, we're so fortunate that you're not faced with any of that right now, but you're creating your own destruction. You're creating your own messes and disasters. And a lot of it can't even be seen in the physical. It's all within, it's within you. And you just keep avoiding it because you have programmed and trained yourself to just kind of be on that little wheel looking for the next thing. What's the next thing that gets my focus off of myself? How can I just stay focused on all these other things? And there's just, at some point, you're going to have a day of reckoning. I think that's inevitable. But even then, you still get a choice. That's the beautiful thing. You still will get a choice. Even when those moments come, you will still get a choice. Because most people, even when I've seen these, like, I would call it a tower moment in life. You know, something collapses in your life. Something falls apart. The bottom drops from out. Rock bottom moments, tower moments, crisis moments. What I have seen many, many times, time and time and time again, is that people will come running for help, right? They'll really be open and wanting to get some shit sorted out. But at the tiniest, I'm talking tiny, at the tiniest little bit of relief, meaning the situation starts to shift and the pain that they're feeling and the stress that they're feeling and the sense of urgency that they're feeling is just a little bit of relief. Poof, they're gone. They're gone. It was all that they really needed, was just a little bit of relief. It was such an overwhelming situation that they actually had to ask for help, but they weren't willing to really change the circumstances that had led to the situation. And I hear this a lot, and I believe this. It's like, if you're someone that's battling with an addiction, and there's many, it's not just drugs and alcohol, there's many addictions, right? The addiction isn't the problem. The addiction is the solution to your problem. It is what you have said, hey, this is what gives me relief. Thus, it's not the problem. You're the problem. The addiction is your idea of a solution. And what the solution is that you're seeking is you're trying to avoid, right? Avoidance. You're wanting to avoid experiencing what needs to be experienced in order for that situation to be processed in a healthy way. You don't want to deal with it. So you're trying to go from whatever is causing you some pain, some discomfort, into pleasure. You want pain and discomfort to go away. I can totally relate to that. But you want as fast of a path and as quick as a result to get you to a state of pleasure. And thus, the drugs, the alcohol, the shopping, the gambling, the food addictions, the negative thinking, the self-sabotage, none of that's the problem. You're the problem, but you're using all these things as a means of self-medicating. And what are you medicating? You're medicating your real pain, your discomfort that's coming from within. It's not your pain isn't sitting in a tree just waiting for you to walk by so it can hit you over the head. You're carrying this around inside of this vessel called your body, within your spirit, within your being. And so many people have figured out how to avoid those feelings, the processing of those feelings. And in this day and age, I feel like everyone is just moving so fast, so fast, so fast, so fast, so fast. We need to slow down. You need to slow down, as I see 11:11. A few synchronicities coming up for me right now. It's a good thing. It's slowing down. It's disconnecting. It's literally having a moment of clarity to be able to get honest with yourself, to be able to look at your life objectively, not judgmentally, not critically, not like you're such a mess up and you've never done anything right. Like that's all just self-loathing nonsense that your ego wants to do so that you don't have to change, right? That's all part of that's in self-sabotage, is giving over to your inner critic, which is really just your ego, which, you know, wants to look out for you, but it doesn't always have your best interest because it's been programmed by yourself to avoid difficult things, challenging things. And you have your priorities all backwards right now. Most people that I talk to, their priorities are not straight. They think something outside can fix their problem when nothing outside will fix your real problems. Not $1 million, not a brand new home, not a brand new car, not a brand new job. None of that will fix your problems. Those are no different than if I said more alcohol, more THC, right? The best vacation ever. None of that fixes your problems. It's all temporary. You may think, oh man, you have no idea. Having a brand new home will be the most incredible thing ever for a minute. It'll wear off. Because if you look at your home now and if it's a mess and you're a mess and you're, struggling with addiction issues and you got, all kinds of, you have a pattern of being in and out of toxic relationships. How does a fucking bigger house, nicer house, dream home, how does that change your life? It doesn't. It does not. You'll start to take that for granted as well. Because it's just temporary. It's like, oh wow, I feel so much better about myself. But then you're still yourself. See, this is the problem. We're avoiding the real work. The real work is looking in the mirror. Greetings. The real work is within. And trust me, I am not someone here saying that more money in your life, more abundance, more prosperity, more freedom is a bad thing. I'm just telling you that if you put that before the inner work, it's not going to last. You're going to self-sabotage yourself. It's not going to be the thing that you truly need. So you need to be able to prioritize. That's why I say total health starts in the mind. Mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, physical health, financial health, relationship health. Like it all aligns, but it starts in the mind. And the only way that you're going to figure things out is by starting to write it down. I can't understate the power of the doggone pen. And this one's even more powerful because it says results kill excuses on it. It's got 4 colors. So it's way cooler than your pen. But the power of writing things down, the reason why I think that's so powerful is because I've experienced that. I'm someone that throughout most of my life, I felt I was pretty intelligent. I could figure things out. And even after I gave up alcohol, THC 13 years ago, got sober, started getting help, right? I hadn't started journaling. Journaling's really about 5 years old for me as a practice. So you got to figure for about 8 years, I was trying to just figure everything out in my head. And I was getting places, but I was having to do a lot of things, try a lot of things, fail on a lot of things, because I was trying to figure it out. And so when I tell you, if you're someone that's trying to figure it all out in your head, I can guarantee you when you look back 1 year from now, even just 1 month, if you haven't started incorporating The things that I am talking about, because again, I'm here to tell you this. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. I know that most of the biggest influencers on this planet are all here to just bullshit you and talk about bullshit. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to enlighten you, to educate you, to encourage you, to inspire you to do what? The work, the true work. This is real value. And it takes your participation. Right. If you're here to just watch, that's great. You're welcome. But I guess you're better off watching this than a lot of that bullshit. But just know that as a disclaimer, it's highly suggested and I highly encourage you to really take me up on actually putting these things into practice. We're coming up already, first month of 2025, right? 2025, first month, it's gone. Boom. Quick. Real quick. That's what's going down. And it's because your life is moving so fast. And if you look back on the month, how many of you actually have personal achievement, personal success? And it doesn't have to be these mountain type accomplishments. That's the whole 1% better every day attitude. Is like, so many people are so overwhelmed, are so busy, and it's not even that you are, like, you feel overwhelmed and you feel like you're so busy and you act like you don't have more time, which you don't have any more time than anybody else. But the thing is if your mind is so wound up, so preoccupied, it's imperative that if you want to slow down and start to become the master of your time, you need to start having some curiosity and really looking at the key area. The key part of your day is your morning. How you start is how you finish. I say that all the time, whether that's how you started the month, right? And how you finish the month. It's how you start and how you finish. So we're coming up at the end of this month. How are you going to finish out this month? Because how you finish this month is how you start the next. You want that momentum. And so I look at it just how you start every day is the most important part. But it's only as important as how do you finish your days. And it takes starting to live life with a lot more intention, to literally start being a lot more conscientious about your patterns, your habits, and what you truly do have at your disposal. And I guarantee you, every single person hearing this right now, if you don't already have a morning practice where you are setting aside at least 30 minutes to 1 hour to just get yourself ready for life, like, you're literally missing out. And thus I know that 9 times out of 10 you're somebody that feels stuck. And the reason why you're stuck is because you're trying to figure it all out here and you're still attached to everything back there. And you're so overconsumed by everything going on around you that it's like, stop. You have so much more power. And I think you know you have power, but there's a reason, there's something going on that you're avoiding. You're avoiding these things. Waking up a little earlier. Oh, I can't do that. Why? Because I'm not a morning person. See, you're already being limited by what? A limiting belief. How do you know you're not a morning person if you've never been a morning person? Being a morning person just means you need to be a night person. And when you're a night person, that means you need to go to bed earlier. At some time between 9 and 10. If you start going to bed at a time when the clock says 9 something, I guarantee you, I guarantee you, waking up and having the clock say 5 or 6 won't be that much of a stretch. Right? But the clock, when it's time to go to bed, should say 9 something. Not 10 something, not 11 something, not 12 something. Sleep is so important. Your sleep is so important. Resting, especially if you're living in a chaotic state of being right now. Like, these things don't take major investments. You don't have to have thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to start a morning routine, to have a better sleep schedule. It just takes some intention and some discipline to say, this matters to me. I want to feel better about my life. I want to have more energy. I want to have more clarity about how I am living every single day. Instead of sitting there and waiting for something to change. Man, if you're living that life, the something is going to be probably one of those tower moments, rock bottom moment, that's going to put you into a state of turmoil or chaos or crisis. And if that's what you need, then so be it. I hope it happens soon. I hope it happens today. I hope that you have that crisis moment today. Because the sooner you get faced with that and you really start to take this life seriously, the better, no matter how tough the challenges are. I've survived so much. And if I can at least express anything to you today, is it shouldn't have to take a crisis moment. And I've talked to a lot of people that believe it does. That if someone's just on the downhill trajectory, they're going to have to hit their rock bottom before they wake up. And I think in many cases, that's probably going to be the case. I don't think it is universally applicable, though. I think that some of you can hear this message peacefully and be like, yeah, I'm ready to start doing some new things, switching some things up. Because you can come peacefully. You can literally just surrender. And this is what it all takes. Because when you have the crisis, you surrender because you realize that you're like, all of the control you thought you were doing, I'm controlling all my life. Oh, I'm all in control. Got to do this, got to do that, got to go there, got to blah, blah, blah. Control, control, control. And it's like, then boom, crisis happens. And it's like, everything goes flying in there. And now you're like, I thought I had it all under control. Control is not the answer. It's not. Control is not the answer. The answer is to be in alignment with your authenticity, with your authentic and true self, which is not your emotional pain body, which is not the physical being that you think you are. That is not your true and authentic self. And the more that you are feeling the suffering, I guarantee you, the more that you feel a state of suffering in your life, that means that you have lost focus on who you truly are. And that's all part of the experience. We all lose our true understanding of who we are. Thus, I think that's the whole point of this life, is to rediscover our true self. Your true self is not the person. If you think you're just the person on your government issued ID that lives on the town, that was born to so and so, that works at this place, gets the check from there, and If you think that that's it, that's the only thing, that's all you're about, yes, I guarantee you're suffering. And by suffering, what do I mean? Right? I love showing this. So by suffering, what I'm talking about is right here. If you see the energy, vibrational energetic chart, this contracted area, which literally goes from right here, from pride to shame. If you're feeling shame, guilt, being apathetic, if you're feeling grief, fear, desire, anger, or pride on any frequency of like a regularity, like if you're someone that gets really angry real fast, I used to be that guy, right? The depths of your emotions, the negative emotions, the depths of how hard you feel these things, how much grief you're feeling, how much guilt you're feeling, how much shame you're feeling, how much unmet desires, right? Desire on here, like we all usually think desire is like a really good thing, but it's actually a bad thing in terms of your energy state. Because if you're sitting there and just desiring everything, that means that you don't possess nothing. That means you want everything outside of you and nothing exists within you. Again, another a part of the delusion of you have lost focus, and it's by design. When we come onto this reality, we get the veil put over our eyes, spiritually and physically, and you forget that you're an eternal being, that you're a soul that never dies. You forget all that. So then you're raised by mommy, daddy, whoever, and you go through all these life experiences, and then you start having all these negative things happening to you in this life, some very terrible things. And guess what you do? You close off, right? You start to close down. And that's why this is considered contracted. You literally close off your energy. The reason why so many children we see a lot of abuse in children is because when we first come into this earth, we're more expanded, we're open. Our energy is open. But as we start to experience these negative things, guess what we do? We contract. We go from being expanded to contracted. This is what's happening. And the more contracted you are, you're literally what this whole entire thing means is you have two identities. There's two things you could be identifying as now, and it's good if you can understand it simultaneously. But you have your physical being and you have your spiritual being. This is kind of the breakthrough here. You need to realize that simultaneously you represent a spiritual being that is eternal, and you have a physical being that is literally limited to just this lifetime, right? It's the character you're playing this lifetime. And what happens is that we get so attached to our physical being, we literally forget the spiritual being there. We forget about it. We literally ignore it. We avoid understanding that it is our true self. You are the true essence of life, not the physical. The physical is so fading. And all of this revelation for me has come throughout my whole life. But I remember when I went through my divorce 5 years ago, hit my rock bottom, I started looking in the mirror and saying, who am I? Who am I? Because again, I was so attached to the physical being, to that experience. And it was very painful, right? That was a painful physical being experience, going through a divorce and having a 21-year marriage expire and no longer being able to be identified as so-and-so's husband and connected to that family and whatever, all that attachment. So that causes you great pain because you're identifying to the physical when you truly are spiritual, which in the spiritual, we are expanded. We are here. Love, joy, peace. Love, joy, peace. These are the two selves. Right here is the divider. Courage is the divider between the higher self and the lower self. The lower self is physical. The higher self is spiritual. That's who you are. And there are so many people on this planet. If you're being triggered by any of this stuff, if you're carrying around a lot of anger, I talk to so many people, I'm frustrated. You're frustrated because you're more attached to your physical lower being, which is temporary, versus your spiritual being, which is infinite. How do we detach? How do we detach? How do we get more awareness of the difference between the two? It's by disconnecting from all the distractions. It really is. It's giving yourself that quiet space. Look, it's quiet here right now. And that quietness can be so scary because we need to be distracted. I talked about it earlier. We don't want to feel these feelings, right? So we have to go and run to the escape routes. We need something to take us outside of ourselves. We don't want to feel how we're feeling. We need somebody, right? There's a lot of people using people as their pain relief, meaning you want people to give you the pleasure, right? And clearly substances, food is one of them. We're very chemically dependent, whether it's nicotine, alcohol, THC, all the different crazy shit in food. Lots of chemicals, lots of chemicals. And it's because what do those do? They give us a happy feeling. And that we're just chasing that. Do you see that happiness isn't even on here? Happiness ain't even a part of this. Joy is so fucking far and above and beyond happy. And at the root of all this is a need to do the work. There's no quick fix. I cannot lead you guys in the most incredible of all incredible prayers right now. And then everyone's just like, you're so good. Oh man, I feel incredible for the rest of my life. There's no fucking way. That shit don't work. If it did, you'd only need to go to church once. Oh, well, I need tune-ups or I just want to be connected with other people. No, it doesn't work. There's no quick fix. You've been doing the quick fixes and you realize they don't work. So if you want the sustainable work, you have to go in and literally do the work, which isn't slaying dragons and demons and going to fucking battle with yourself. It's surrendering. The real work takes surrender, which is also scary because you got to be vulnerable. You got to go back to being open, right? It takes being surrender. Okay, I'm done. I'm done being in control, right? I'm done trying to control everything because that's what's going on right now. You're trying to control everything in your life. And thus, and unless you have a track record of just win after win after win after win, and everything is just so awesome, you feel so incredible about yourself, then literally you need to be on the stage to inspiring the world because we need you. But if you're someone that's like, man, yeah, he's right. All my control only leaves me less in control of myself. It's all self. There's no one else to worry about, even if you're a mommy and a dad or a daddy. Because if you take care of yourself, if you start to take care of yourself, if you start to love yourself, it's like you have to shift this whole paradigm. This whole paradigm has to shift. We've been programmed that somehow, even as a mommy and a daddy, you have to somehow take care of your kids more than yourself. And it's like, that's the biggest bullshit lie ever told. What is that teaching them? To also be self-sacrificing? When your love comes from the most authentic place from within, like genuine love for yourself, genuinely that, and not only can you say it, see, we got a lot of bullshitters out there. Are you a bullshitter? And by that, I mean you're bullshitting yourself, thus you're bullshitting other people. You're lying to yourself. And you don't have any problem lying to other people. Because there's a lot of people on here. Look at this. One of the highest levels of vibrational energy that you could be possessing is peace. Well, I know people that you think you're a peaceful person. But if I say a certain name of a politician or a celebrity or something, you get angry. So are you really peaceful? No, you're not. Oh, but you can justify it. You can justify the anger towards that person as if somehow that's okay. It's not okay. See, the whole point of this chart is it gets y'all caught right here in neutrality. This neutrality threshold means you got to let all your biases, all your stereotypes, all your fear, all your false beliefs, all your limiting beliefs, all your racism, all of your hatred towards other people, your judgments, your criticism, your, oh, I'm right, they're wrong, all that shit's got to get left in the fucking gutter. You got to leave it behind because all of that is based on this. It's all based on your pride, your anger, your desire, your fear, your sadness, your right? Your guilt, your shame. And every time you look at somebody, whether in your mind you think you're so justified, you're such a good, loving, sweet person, but you can carry around some fucking fire-breathing death upon that other human being, you justify yourself as saying, but no, you don't understand. That person is no good. And I'm going to carry around some fucking death, fire-breathing hatred in my heart towards them. When it's like, you probably don't even know them personally, right? And secondly, that doesn't matter. Because any way that you look at someone else is really a reflection on something that you have within yourself. And that's where most people get wrecked. And the reason why you get wrecked is because you're looking out the window and you're not looking at the mirror. You are in denial, which is a part of grief. You are in denial of your own truth. You don't want to see your shadow, do you? You don't want to see all that nastiness inside of yourself. So it's so much easier to point at other people. Because no, you don't. You're just a goody good. You're so sweet and loving and kind and peaceful. That is the literal measurement. I check myself every single day. And it's something as simple that you're scrolling, scroll, right? You start to see somebody, you see someone living a best life. If only you know this, and you know it when you are judging, when you are envious, when you get angry, when you get triggered about reading about some certain things, you know what's in your heart. And as long as you're still dealing with that, as long as you're still carrying around judgment, it's in you. You need to realize it's not about them, it's in you. But if you keep looking out the window, you're looking at everybody else to validate how you're feeling. Because the love on here is unconditional. That means you literally love every single person, good, bad, and anything in between. Because you don't even see it as good or bad. It's not about that. Every single human being on this planet is a soul, not one above the other. Not one soul is above the other. Your age doesn't put you above other souls. Your gender, your race, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, it doesn't put you above any other soul. Even if you've done a ton of bad things, your soul is the same as their soul. It's not a merit system in terms of the soul. Again, there's the two identities. And this is the visual for the two identities. If you are filled with pride, anger, desires unmet, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, or shame, right? Which we all have this, but we have to transcend it. That means that you are attached to your physical being. You're stuck. You think that it's really just about this life, and it's not. When you start to expand beyond that and heal, and all of this is spiritual work. It takes looking in the mirror. It takes truly seeing, going in the time machine all the way back to childhood, all the way back to being a little boy or little girl. When you had a mommy, daddy, how did they treat you? What was the things that happened? And you have to go back in that time machine and you have to truly get clear on what happened to you. You can't act as if, I don't give a shit about that. That's way too long ago. Why does that matter? Trust me, it matters. It matters way more than most people are ready to accept yet. This is a yet thing. More and more people are turning to this message as a result of doing the soul searching, of trying and figuring out that, man, whatever you've been doing hasn't been working. The new car, the new house, the new job, the new town, it only lasts for so long unless you're doing the true inner work, which it takes you going back in the time machine, being very clear, getting to a clear awareness of everything that's happened. And I'm talking about the bad things. And getting to a place of accepting that all that stuff happened. And as you do that, then you breathe life into it by forgiving and releasing and letting go. And that's this process, courage. That takes courage. And when you get to a place of neutrality, you realize that nothing happened to you. It happened for you. It happened for you. All those bad things, I know they happened for you. For what? If you didn't live in suffering, you wouldn't understand the contrast between what it is to suffer and what it is to actually be alive, to truly be alive, to be aligned with your spiritual being, which is filled with unlimited amounts of love, joy, and peace. And it doesn't, when you are filled with peace, that doesn't mean that there's not wars. That doesn't mean that there's not conflict. That doesn't mean that people aren't being hurt. It's not about that. That peace transcends all of that. It's peace with knowing that you know who you are. And you know that you don't wish no harm upon anybody on this planet. That you can see a oneness in humanity, in all living things, energetically. That's spiritual eyes. But the more attached you are to your life, in your situation, you're suffering. And many people will go through this life continuing to suffer, continuing to be victimized, right? And then you're wondering why you're still stuck. right? Being critical, complaining, all of those things, they drain you of your energy. You're wasting your energy. It's all about energy on this planet. Your whole entire day is filled with what are you doing with your energy? How are you using your energy? Are you doing things that drain you of your life force energy, or are you doing things that add to it, enhance it, and create an exchange with all humanity in a healthy way? Or are you literally just giving away your energy? And that leaves you with what? Nothing, but more of the same, but with a sense of feeling stuck. And I've experienced this in the most profound ways. I truly have experienced this breakthrough just recently. I made a commitment about a little over 2 weeks ago that I was going to do. It was really at the first of the year that I was going to start doing these really, 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 really intense breathwork exercises every single day. A commitment. When was the last time? Right? When was the last time that you committed to doing something and saw it through? I can guarantee you your life would change if you could just learn to commit and follow through with things. And it doesn't have to be big things. See, another self-sabotaging pattern that most people have is you'll you'll commit to something, but you'll set the bar so high that you fail. That's a self-sabotaging habit, is setting the bar too high. So we need to learn how to reestablish that trust with ourselves, to be realistic with ourselves. And that's why we need to spend so much time looking in the mirror, which is really looking within. You do need to be able to physically look yourself in the mirror with eyes of compassion, with understanding that, look, no matter where you're at right now, you need to love yourself. You need to learn how to start loving yourself. And it's something as simple as just looking yourself in the mirror every morning with a smile, saying, I love you. We can do this. Today's going to be the greatest day of our life. And you give yourself a high five. How many of you can't even do that? How many of you have never even thought to do that with yourself? You're missing out on something major right there. The relationship you have with yourself is the relationship you'll have with others. If you do not authentically, unconditionally love yourself, how do you expect anyone else to love you? The problem is that most people that don't love themselves, you do want someone else to show you love. So then you'll pretend to be something you're not, and that's usually what leads to like toxic type relationships. Because you're needing someone on the outside again to make you feel better about yourself. And I struggled with this concept. I've struggled with this concept for many years. So I if you're someone that's like hearing this and saying, "Man, it's really challenging." I'm with you. It is challenging. It is challenging because you have to realize that if you can think right now, just imagine thinking and feeling. That's what I love about this. We can do whatever we want to do here. But if you can just sit there and imagine as you're listening, hearing my voice, if you'll give yourself permission to just kind of close your eyes, maybe even put your hands over your heart and just think about one of the most loving experiences that you've ever felt. It definitely involved another person like admiring you, adoring you, being sensual with you, telling you sweet things, giving you something very thoughtful and kind, or maybe it was even sexual. But if you just sit there and like just think about, when you felt just so incredible, and if you're feeling that way right now, then that's incredible. And so to just tap into that feeling for a moment, it should bring a smile to your face. It should warm your heart when you think of something good like that, when you really felt seen and loved and someone was someone was like sharing their energy with you in a warm, loving, kind way. But here's the beautiful thing. That feeling that you had was your feeling, meaning the other person had their version of what they were feeling. And so that's what I'm trying to highlight here is that you have to be able to start tapping into that feeling and generating those feelings unilaterally on your own, to literally start to like realize that the incredible feelings that you've had throughout your life were all your feelings. Sure, it was a blessing that someone else was a part of that exchange, but for you to realize, I think the reason why people are part of those exchanges, and then sometimes those people hurt us or we hurt them and we have falling outs, and then, it's like does it ever really last? But yet we experience those things, and I think a big part of why we are given the gift of experiencing that is so that we know that when we do start to come into ourselves, which is this work, we can tap back into those feelings and start to generate that within ourselves. We can learn how to do things for ourselves that also provide us with that sense of quality feelings versus just totally being dependent on someone from the outside to make you feel good about yourself. And I'm definitely not an advocate of like being in isolation, being singularity forever. But I do know that for me personally, I had a lot of codependency issues. I had a lot of abandonment wounds. I had a lot of rejection issues. And so for me, along my path, I have done some of the most incredible work by myself. Not necessarily by myself. I'm with God, and there's other people that pass in and out of my life. But in terms of not being in relationship, but I also do know the value of the relationship is that if you are putting in the work, the only way to really test yourself to if the work you're doing is sticking is by giving yourself permission to connect with other people, to welcome other people into your heart. And that's a difficult thing, especially if you've been hurt. But our hearts are strong. Your heart is really strong. Your heart is really resilient. Your heart is really able to bounce back. But when it does, I think it's important for you to be in a greater state of expansion so that you're more identified with the spiritual, knowing that you can be more self-aware and have more self-mastery to trust yourself so that when you're with somebody, you're fully present with them. And that even when arguments happen, it's not about winning, it's about understanding. It's about coming up with solutions to whatever the root of the problem is. And that takes a lot of self-work. And that's what we talk about here. Going from self-sabotage to self-discovery to self-improvement to self-development to self-awareness and then to self-mastery. That is the process. And although it took me 13 years to get to this place, I truly do believe that I've been given the background, the experiences throughout my professional and personal life to be able to help other people expedite 13 years into like weeks, 13 weeks, even just and that's a really positive thing, and the reason why I have confidence in that is because that's how we work as humans. If one person can do something, that gives other people the confidence to do it as well. And especially if it's a process that I spent many, many years, many, many days staring at blank pieces of paper, trying this thing, trying that thing, and I know what worked. I look back and I say, okay, I know what the hell worked for me. Does that mean it's going to for sure guarantee work for you? I always say the results can vary. The results can vary because I can't fully know your intention, how committed you truly are towards becoming the best version of yourself. That's the standard here. I've never kind of minced words about that. The whole point of Results Kill Excuses is to encourage, inspire, motivate, and clap for people to become the best versions of themselves. And what does that even mean? To become the best version of yourself, it means to fully be aware of who you are. And it's a 1% better every single day. Life on life's terms, no escape routes, no days off, right? These are incredibly motivating sayings, but it really is my way of doing life. It's what's gotten me this far. It's what's going to keep me going each and every day. And the genesis of my healing journey, 13 years in the works, was I had to have that tower moment, rock bottom moment. I had to have that honest conversation with myself, which was, okay, do I want to keep feeling the way I'm feeling? Or am I really, 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 really ready this time to change, and not just change for one season, but to really change for the rest of my life? And you know when you have that conversation with yourself. You know when you're just sort of like, ouch, this is hurting. How do I get it? How do I feel better about myself real fast? And I hear this all the time, especially in the manosphere, but I think it's just in dating in general, relationships in general. It's like one person hurts, breaks your heart. The quickest way to fix that is get back in another relationship. And I'm like, that's the fucking worst advice ever. It's terrible. That doesn't fix you. It takes away your pain by using another person. That's karmic. That's major karmic, man. That's karmic. Yeah, you're not going to get nothing good out of that situation. Using other people to soothe your pain. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. That's not it here. And I'm guilty of that. I say this knowing, right? That's the transparency here. Is like, I tried that. It didn't work. It was not good. It was not good. And thus, I knew that the times that I had the greatest amount of transformational growth was when I literally said, all right, I'm going to just work on myself. I'm going to close myself off. I'm not seeking, chasing, looking for a connection right now. I need to connect with myself. I want to be able to attract higher quality people into my life. Platonically, romantically, and professionally. I just want to be a better version of me, and I believe in the law of attraction. But yet, you know, in this society, everyone the masses are still just looking for quick fixes. They're still believing that the $1 million, the new house, the new car, the new job, the new relationship is what is going to make their life fucking far better than it is right now. And the answer is that's false. That's not going to do it. Guaranteed. It's not going to do it. The real work is about the internal work. And as you do that, the beautiful thing is when you start to do this self-improvement work is you are guaranteed to improve who you are. Like results will vary, but guaranteed you're going to get results. What you put in is what you get out. I say it in every video that's on the app, right? First 5 self-discovery courses. If you haven't been on the app yet, you should get on there, right? You can purchase a workbook, but honestly, it's my gift to you. It's like there's 5 courses on there for self-discovery. If you have a printer, you need to print out all the worksheets for that course, watch the videos, and put in the work. Invest in you. Figure some shit out about your life. If you're someone that's dealing with addiction, I think one of the best courses on planet Earth is what I call breaking up with my addictions, right? And this is deep diving, reflective work. You know, you got to be able to identify your addictions. How long has it been attached to your life? It's having an understanding. I coach in there the understanding of the stages of addiction, which is going from experimentation to regular use to risky use to then dependence on the thing and then to full blown addiction, not being able to function without. And then it's understanding your patterns of use, understanding the cost and not just in money. What does your addiction cost you in times, in peace, having peace with yourself? What is it costing your health? What is it costing you in terms of opportunities and connections? This is the type of things that you'll do on the Results Kill Excuses app in these courses. It's all through the work. And, you have me guiding you through that process. Then there's a reflection page for every one of these. Here's the one from day 1. Reflect on the time you'd gain. Reflect on the time you'd gain if you freed yourself from your addiction. What could you invest this newfound time and energy into? How would focusing on this help you overcome your addiction? And that's the one thing, once you give up one thing, once you create a void and a space, there's a vacuum. What is going to get filled into there? You have to go through that strategy. And so if you're someone that wants to reconsider your relationship with something, you could be addicted to a person that's no good for you, food, your team, anything. That's the beautiful thing about here is you can write anything in this. We got addictions of all types. So you can literally write anything. What is your addiction? You get to define it. You can do this course 10 times with 10 different things that you're struggling with. And day 2 is really heavy hitting because you got to make some commitments that you got to sign your name there. You got to choose a sobriety date. You got to talk about holding yourself accountable. And you got to really have some reflection. Why do you want to release your addiction? If you eliminate whatever that addiction is, what will you add? All the strategies are there. And then there's also an opportunity for you to do some web searches to find some support, to realize that, whatever thing that you overcame as an addiction, you can do some web searches, find other inspirations. You're not the only person that's struggling with the thing that you think that is so impossible for you to kick to the fucking curb. But you're just sitting there acting helpless. Because why? You're attached to the physical being, not the spiritual. You need to let go of the physical being. When you attach to the spiritual, man, everything starts to align itself for you. I get really passionate about this stuff because I know that there's a lot of people's lives being changed, but I know that there's a lot more people's lives that are going to be changed throughout the course of this. And there is a part of me that's like, I get excited about it, and I kind of wish everybody would be on the board on this bandwagon right now. But it's a part of my own process of being patient, continuing to do my work every single day. And that's been really powerful. I'm going through a whole nother dark night of the soul, right? 13 years in, I'm going through another season of isolation, separation, deeper healing, and it's all for the good. It's incredible work because I'm a consummate believer that what you heal in yourself, you now are perfectly qualified to help heal the person that you once were. That means that there are many, many people that you could assist if it's conditional, if you so choose to do that, to help other people. And that's a beautiful thing. But the first thing is you got to help yourself. A lot of people struggle with that part. And it's all by design. It's by design that we have been programmed to abandon ourselves for the interest of what? Conformity. Even though you are one of one, there'll never be another like you on this planet ever, ever, ever again. We still get so caught up in conformity. We're so afraid to kind of stand alone and be like seen for the beautiful creation that we are, to really see our gifts. We're so afraid to share our gifts, to speak our truth. And I hope that a lot of that's coming, I think people are starting to shift. I really do believe that more and more and more people are starting to shift beyond that, right? Which again, that's all here. If you're carrying around fear, fear is future, right? It's the future. Guilt, shame, most of this stuff is from your past. But if you're afraid, it's about the future. What are they going to think about me? What are they going to say about me? And it's true. You start putting yourself out there. Not everybody's going to clap for you. Not everybody that said that they love you and care about you and think you're the best thing ever. When you start doing your real shit, oh no, they're going to be like, oh no, you better stop or else. And then what happens? Well, a lot of you do. A lot of you stop. A lot of you will stop being the best version of you, or at least going down that path, because as humans, we can't help it. We really, the greatest gift is life. The second greatest gift is connection. And we want to feel like we belong. We want to feel accepted. And what's so sad is that we will accept less than ideal acceptance from others instead of trusting ourselves, trusting this process, going through the entire process, staying locked in to becoming the next level, the next version of yourself, which is more aligned with the spiritual being that you are, so that you can attract true soul tribe people that see you for you, versus people that you're having to pretend to be something and do things that you don't really like, that you don't really want, that you don't really think help you or benefit you. But hey, you're around people and that makes you feel like you're cool. It's like, fuck, we're not 16 no more. I know I'm talking to adults. It's not about who has the most friends, popularity, and cool kids. But that takes a lot of courage. That's why this chart talks about it, man. It takes courage. It takes courage for you to get up here. But I said this last week. I said, look, man, if I woke up this morning, as I have for the past 13 years, sober, right? I was the biggest party animal on planet Earth. I've partied at the biggest freaking parties, concerts, bars all around the world. The biggest shows, the biggest clubs. I know what it is to pay like a $10,000 bottle service, VIP, fucking just debauchery at its best nights. And yet, if that was somehow the best times during doing that was somehow better than how I woke up this morning, I would be back to doing that. Period. Do you hear me? If who I was experiencing just, yay, man, like I'm unstoppable. Let's party. Yeah, party, party, party. You know, it's like if that version of me was somehow superior to the guy that woke up this morning with positive affirmations, with journaling, with the most incredible breathwork session ever, right? Getting on here completely sober, right? If that was better than this, I would be back to that. So whatever you're telling yourself, saying, no, I need it, I have to do that, it's like, okay. The thing is I'm a big believer that if someone can talk you into something, then someone else can talk you out. I'm going to say that again for everyone in the back. If someone can talk you into something, then there is absolutely someone else that can talk you out of it. That means that it's just, you're just looking for whatever. You don't have a conviction. You don't have it in your heart. It doesn't truly matter to you. If it did, then under no circumstances would you even worry about what anybody else has to say about it. You would follow your light. You would follow your truth, which has been a big part of this journey. It's been plenty of times I've been at social events and people are like, hey man, can I get you a drink? Can I do this? Can I do that? I'm like, I'm good, bro. Wait, what? You don't drink? You don't do that? I don't experience that so much anymore, but it was like I used to a lot. People would freak out. How do you do it? You know, I think some people are still just so surprised. How do you do it? How do you do life without doing that? Because here's the thing. I've already said it. If you're someone that drinks alcohol, smokes weed, cigarettes, vapes, any kind of drug use, alcoholic use, right? I'll just focus on those. If you're someone that's needing that stuff, right? Those are not your problem. They're the solution to your problem. And so what makes me and you the same is I have problems. You have problems. Everyone has fucking problems. We all have problems. And when I'm saying problems, we have circumstances in our day-to-day lives that make us feel uncomfortable emotionally, mentally, spiritually. We feel a sense of pain. We feel some anxiety. We feel depressed. We feel sad. We feel inadequate. We feel helpless. We feel scared. We feel nervous. We feel depressed. We all feel this. Every person on planet Earth has that. So there's where we are exactly the same. But see, when you are healed and when you get through the self-sabotage, the self-discovery, the self-development, the self-improvement, self-development, self-awareness, self-mastery, where there is now a difference. The old version of me was very similar. When I would feel those things, I didn't understand them. And yet I was like, I need to smoke a fucking joint. I'm not feeling good right now. I need to fucking get high. Or for me, I would like go to food. Like, man, for some reason now, just out of nowhere, I'm getting a craving for some really unhealthy food. Because again, it's like that would give you a little bit of relief. Or it's time to get a drink. Whatever it is. Right. So there's the wounded version of me saying, hey, I need these things to feel better about myself. I need the pain relief. These are my self-medicating things that make me feel better, that take me from feeling, whoa, something feels off inside of me. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to run to this thing. Versus the version of me now, something feels off and I say, oh, fuck, okay. I do some breath work and I say, fuck. I must be scared right now. Yeah, I think that's scared. Yeah. Okay, let's be scared. And you welcome the scaredness in. You say, okay, let's be scared. What would I be scared about? Well, you got this going on and that's happening. And then this one thing you saw reminded you about this thing 10 years ago. And it's like, okay, cool. That all makes sense. That's cool. Sweet. Let's just be scared. Okay, well, I'm going to be scared. And then you're scared for like a minute and then you're still scared. And it's like, oh no, I'm so scared. And then before you know it, it's like 2 minutes goes by and then you don't feel so scared anymore. And then after that, I do some, maybe I'll kick off my shoes and socks. I'll go in the sun. I'll listen to some positive affirmations and maybe even journal, right? The power of the pen. Maybe I'll even write, yeah, I had this trigger that came about and, it kind of reminded me of this situation that made me feel really insecure and afraid. And, I'll just kind of have that conversation with myself. It sounds so sweet, don't it? Versus like, "Oh, man, I'm scared. Oh, I can't tell nobody I'm scared. They won't think I'm a fucking alpha man anymore." It's like but yeah, you're gonna be way more better off by getting drunk, getting high, smoking cigs because you're just constantly your nervous system's just constantly fucking under pressure. It's like, dude, that's the whole game, is that we have a problem and it's the way we feel. The problem is that we've been trained that somehow when feeling your emotions is not acceptable. You're not supposed to feel your emotions. I mean, how many of us literally were programmed from the earliest age to like suppress your emotions? You start crying, you get sad, you're, angry. It's like anything that you showed as a negative emotion, man, that shit would get shut the fuck down quick, real quick. That was me, Oh, you want to cry? I'll give you a fucking reason to cry. Get over here. Whack, 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 whack. It's like, holy shit. This ain't government control, man. This is our own control, right? You're controlling your own mind, right? You don't even have to worry about those things. I don't watch no news. I don't watch no television, right? I mean, it's like you again, that's just a distraction. That's looking out the window. That's just one more reason to be judgmental, critical, scared, afraid, like to trigger your emotion. Dude, just look in the fucking mirror. Look in the mirror. That's what you need to do. That's what we all need to do. Right? There's plenty of bad news inside of us. To just be able to accept yourself takes a lot of courage. Takes a lot of courage. And again, I've been talking a lot about the journaling, and I have appreciated so many people that have made the investment, the 1% Better Everyday Journal. This truly, truly is something that manifested through my journaling. Again, because I had a lot of people hit me up, man. What are you doing? How do you do all that stuff? Right? They started to see the changes in my life. And back then, I didn't really have a clue. I was just like, well, man, I'm just kind of writing stuff down and processing through stuff. And yet, I'm somebody that has a background in graphic design and teaching. And I said, I want to be able to put together a journal that makes journaling easy. Because I know most people didn't enjoy English class in high school, writing essays. Most people don't like to write, especially in a digital age. It's even that much more like inconvenient. Man, you want me to write stuff? I'm a believer. Note takers are money makers. Anytime I go to a workshop, anytime I go to a class or something, man, I'm writing notes down, writing notes down. I've gone to healing sessions. I'm writing the notes down. I just do it. There's something so powerful about that. And so the 1% Better Everyday Journal is literally my way of helping people to sort through the challenges of life, but it starts by truly focusing on what matters to you each and every day. And so it's a 13-week journal. This is volume 1. There's 4 volumes, so you basically continue throughout the full year. But it's looking at life, especially if you're someone that finds yourself stuck. I keep telling you, you can't figure all this stuff out in your head. Because you can't figure it out in your head, what I think is so powerful about the 1% Better Everyday Journal is it helps you with videos from me to be able to lower the bar, to lower the standard that you have for yourself. And so the most basic page that you see every single day, this usually takes me about 15 minutes to complete, but it starts with an attitude of gratitude. It starts with being able to, there's visualization prompts there. It's starting to redefine who you see yourself as. We have a major issue in this world right now of self-image, how you truly see yourself. And so right out of the gate, you got to start talking about, how you feel the best. I feel that I am the best. And a lot of you struggle with that. Truly acknowledging that there is there is a gift inside of you, and there's something so incredible that wants to be seen and heard. And literally it's your contribution to humanity. But so many of us have such a low image of self. We've been beat down by what other people have told us and what we tell ourselves continuously, that this is what breaks you free from that. And it's very structured. It's very user friendly. I had somebody say it reminds them of being back in junior high. And that's what's cool is most of us did enjoy our youth. We did enjoy back in the day, being at school, having fun, having friends, whatever it was. And this is how you could start each and every day. Then there's also some affirmations, I'm worthy to have good things happen to me today. I'm ready to accomplish what matters to me today. Filling up your gratitude jar with things that are important to you, and also filling up a jar full of love, things that you love, and these are your things. Beyond that, I put out several things that I think are really great mindful practices for you to participate in. Positive affirmations, whether they're just playing in the background or you're writing them down, which you'll do on the next page, is essential for setting yourself up for success. And yet, one of the coolest things, how you can start to get unstuck, is by looking at yourself every single day. But you're looking at yourself first through the positive. What did you do good and right yesterday? I mean, when was the last time that you actually were able to look at yourself and give yourself credit for doing some good things for any extended amount of time? We get so caught up in the negative. Someone here was talking about negative news, negative news. Well, create your own good news. Go out there and be a good person on this planet. Be a good person in your community. Be a better person in your workplace. Be a better person at home. And it starts by actually starting to acknowledge that there is good things that you do each and every day. But there also are opportunities that you can improve. And a lot of people are afraid to even acknowledge that. So it's like, what can you do better? And so you get this page every single day. But what I think is really effective about this, is that I break down goal setting from a monthly level to a weekly level down to a daily level as to focusing on what really matters to you today. That's this section. Every single day, you're going to put down 3 things that matter to you, your priorities for that day. Do you think that if you were to have a commitment to this process, that after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months of writing down small steps towards a bigger goal, holding yourself accountable. Do you think that you would be actually getting some progress in life and looking back and feeling less stuck? I guarantee it. Results vary because you got to show up for yourself. But so one of the other powerful things here is that you don't just write this down. There's a prompt here to take a few moments, not minutes, not days. Take a few moments to visualize each of those things every day getting accomplished. And it's starting to tap into your mind that if there's something that you want to accomplish, I'm going to get a workout in. I'm going to go do a 30-minute walk. It's just stopping for a moment and visualizing yourself doing that thing. This is what sets you up for success. This is what gives you more confidence. This is when you start living life on your terms and not life just running you up and down each and every week, every single day, as if like it's just so fast and you just can't keep up and you don't know what to do. Take your power back. The next piece to this is the affirmations. I'm kind of going all over the place here, which is I am affirmations. In this cloud, you can dream big. You can start to build your self-confidence. Again, when you start writing down, I am sexy, I am healthy, I am strong, I am powerful, I am rich, I am abundant, I am someone that gets new opportunities to grow every single day. Whatever you want to fill in there, it becomes repetitive. And it is a part of my daily practice. And yet it's just made in a fun way to just keep it simple. And I can't tell you how important this was. A few days ago, I decided to do some free writing and I literally sat there. I probably sat there for an hour and I only got half a page done because I kept getting distracted. When this stuff is right here for you, it makes it simple and easy. It gives you a whole fresh perspective to being fun, being creative. And then one of the biggest pieces that I think sets apart this journal from everything else on the market is embedded in this 91-day journal is basically a personal growth masterclass. It takes you through self-sabotage, self-improvement, self-development, self-awareness, and self-mastery. And it's broken down usually by about 18 days. And when you get into that phase of this daily journal, which is right after the I am affirmations on more than probably about 35 of the 91 days, you'll see these video prompts. You can go into the Results Kill Excuses app and you have me giving you a master class on whatever it is. I think this one was identify 3 self-sabotaging behaviors that I have noticed in my life. Well, in the app, there's a class with me breaking down what is self-sabotage? What are the most common self-sabotaging patterns and behaviors? Because a lot of times you're looking at this stuff for the first time in your life and you can't just figure it all out. And that is a big part of the value that I really appreciate that I'm able to share with you all, is to be able to guide you and teach you through these challenging questions. This is a challenging process. But the really good thing about the challenge is it is what is going to help you to grow. By embracing the challenge, by doing this kind of reflectionary work, right? How do they show up? When do they show up? Your top 3 self-sabotaging patterns. What about this part of me am I willing to change? Right? They say it, nothing changes if nothing changes, but if the things you're choosing not to change are the things you're choosing, which is, again, you're stuck attached to the physical being versus the spiritual being. And so beyond that, you have accountability galore, which most of us need. Most of us need self accountability. So after every week, you have a recap. What did you do good that week? What could you have done better? You can chalk up some wins for yourself. What are some of the lessons that you learned? And then you get right back into it. Next week, this coming week, what are the 3 things that matter to me most this week? And it's really an opportunity for you to start breaking free of the apathy and the hesitation and the conformities, and just like starting to like see progress. And the most beautiful thing, when you start keeping receipts about yourself, when you go back and look at this stuff, you're like, wow, it's it's very energizing when you can look back after day 1, week 3, week 4, 6 months later, to be able a year later to go back. You know what? I want to see what was I thinking about a year ago? What kind of goals? And some of this stuff you forget because you get so focused on just one day at a time that you stop worrying about what happened 3 months ago. But you know that because you were actually living conscientiously with intention, that those things you did 3 months ago is what's setting you up for success today. And so you have also your monthly recaps here. There's also guided video support on me helping you to develop your free writing and auto writing skills throughout the 1% Better Everyday Journal. So if you haven't, or you're considering it, making the investment in yourself, there is a link down below. If you order now, you'll get a sticker and this really incredible pen. So I appreciate everybody that's been getting in on it. I think someone said on Friday night's live video that it's been one of the best investments that they've ever made in themselves. And if you're someone that's been using it, you know, I do appreciate everybody that's been going on there. But I'll send you this 4-color pen. I actually like to journal with all the different colors when I'm writing my gratitude. I usually switch colors in between everything, and it colorizes life. Everybody's living in such a blue state nowadays. You also get this sticker, 1% Better Every Day. Results kill excuses. So if you're interested, definitely pull the trigger. Invest in yourself. There's nothing else like this. Nothing. I've looked. A lot of the journals that I see out there, they look very AI generated, which means there's questions that you got to kind of answer, but there's definitely no support videos. There's not a master class built into that. And they just don't feel fun. Maybe if you're ready and you can just kind of really lock in and figure everything out for yourself, you'd be good. But I believe in always lending a hand. Again, I always talk about my daily 5 principles: minding my mornings, um, eating my health, moving my body, learning every day, and making a difference. And so this is a part of me making a difference into the world by giving back, by knowing that what I have figured out for myself, being one of the most self-sabotaging dudes on planet Earth, I've turned it all around. And I know that if I can do it, you can do it. No matter how challenging your life or your situation is, you can do it. I also wanted to share with you guys some work. So I made a worksheet for you guys for today, if you'd like. It's available on the Results Kill Excuses app under the printed material course, and it's called Avoiding. And so you can print out this page here, but I like to share these worksheets with you guys. I think a lot of people are realizing that there's some things that we're avoiding, and we're already almost 1 month in to the new year, and yet some people are still struggling to kind of find their rhythm, find their pattern and their pace. But if you would like to do this exercise, you could just use a blank piece of paper, or you can download and print this off of the app free of charge. It's free of charge. Most what I do is free. And so on here, it's identifying 3 things that you are currently avoiding. And I can't think of anybody on this planet that's probably not avoiding a few things. And by avoiding it, it's like you got to be able to start getting honest with yourself, saying that, yeah, there are some things that I'm avoiding. So, and again, if you can start writing this stuff down, getting it out of your head, stop trying to figure it all out, right? I guarantee you, you're going to start to see some improvement, some progress in your life. And one of the exercises I think that has really helped me out is once you write down some things that you know that you're avoiding, it's to also write down what fears or doubts come up when I think of these issues. Again, it's the whole heart of what I have been explaining here is like the days of fuck my feelings is over, man. Like you need to feel your feelings, right? The reason why you're avoiding something is because there's some kind of fear there. There's some kind of doubt. There's something that's not on the positive. And so it's okay to acknowledge that stuff. So it's okay to say that I know I'm avoiding asking for a raise. Well, what am I afraid of? Being told no. I'm avoiding, exiting a relationship. Well, why am I doing that? Because I'm afraid of being alone and, you know, we share a house and I don't know where I would live. I mean, it's like when you start actually sorting through the real complexities of life and writing it down, I promise you, they literally reduce in half of the size. If you're looking at a boogeyman and a dragon and a demon, the minute you write it down, it just becomes a situation that you can now like look at with clear eyes and be like, there's got to be a way for me to get through this. And then it's saying, what is the worst case scenario I can imagine happening? Right? It's literally playing out the whole theatrics that is holding you back in your head because you're already doing it. But once you write it down and really own it, it's like, okay, what are the fears that are coming up? What's the worst case scenario? Oh, I'm going to be homeless on the street begging for freaking change because you broke up with somebody? Well, yeah. Okay, well, let's just write it down. You might as well write it down. And then it's also having some reality of saying, what is the likelihood that this happens? What is the likelihood? Most people, you create such worst case scenarios about everything in life. And then the likelihood of that actually happening is slim to none. But most people, because you don't get your negativity out of your head, you're creating your reality. So you're creating those negative situations. God isn't like watching your life and because you did something wrong or cursed somebody out that you're getting instant punishment, right? For being a bad kid. It's like, no, you're creating these things. If you are starting to be able to get some clarity in your mind, you're creating these things for yourself. And then it's also now flipping the script and saying, what if everything actually went great? How would you feel? Right? You have to have balance. It's looking, okay, let's look at the dragons. Let's look at the demons. What is the worst case scenarios? Let's play all that out on paper. This is literally being a mature adult. Mature adult. And again, it doesn't come with age. It comes with a sense of self-awareness and self-mastery, an having more emotional intelligence over yourself and others, understanding others and yourself more. And the only way you do that is by putting in the work. That's what I keep talking about here. You got to put in the work, download the app, go into the printing materials section, print this form out, and spend an hour working on it. You will feel 10 times fucking better after doing this. You may not feel 10 times better after watching a team or your team win or lose, but I guarantee you, if you face yourself and spend an hour doing this, you're going to feel 10 times better. I guarantee you, your stress level goes way, way, way down. And finally, what is a way you can test the waters of your faith? What are some first steps that you can take to actually see if the worst case scenario will actually happen? A lot of this stuff is just you're psyching yourself out. If you're somebody that's ever been afraid of roller coasters or heights, it's like you go to an amusement park and you see that big scary roller coaster. I always taught my kids, like, let's just get on it. And I would always point out people that would be sitting there at like where the scary part was, and they're just staring. And I'm like, you watch, those guys are never going to get in line because they're psyching themselves out. They're staring at the scariest part and they're imagining how scared they would be versus just get in the fucking line, get on the ride and experience it. Face your fears. Because in watching the scariest part, I don't think they saw anybody die. I don't think every 10 people that came through died. They're just standing there psyching themselves out psychologically. What's the difference with you in many ways of your life that you're avoiding? You're psyching yourself out. You're looking for distractions. You're saying, oh no, I can't do that. And it's all a lie. It's all an illusion. These are things you're telling yourself. And those days need to fall by the wayside. You need to start taking action with intention. And it should start with the most important part of the day is the morning. If you don't have a morning routine for yourself, like 1 hour of just listening to some positive affirmations, doing a little journaling, doing a little breath work, just kind of setting yourself up for success, then yeah, you're just wash, rinse, and repeat, more of the same. As long as you know that that's the story that you're writing for yourself and you're okay with that being the way, nothing's going to just magically change in your life. So as long as you're okay with that being the story, then just don't change anything. But if you're ready to realize that you do have the power with this pen, with a 1% better everyday journal or a blank piece of paper, you can literally redefine your past and tell the most incredible story ever told, the most incredible comeback. But you're not going to be able to skip the writing it down stage. It is the most tried and true way towards breaking through being stuck in life. Is when you start writing down things that matter to yourself. You start writing down and understanding what is holding you back, what has been holding you back, what do you want to let go of. You start sorting through the challenges of life. You quit just trying to figure it all out in your head. Someone shared with me recently, figuring it out in your head is like if I was to ask you what's 947 times 374. How many of you figured that out in your head? None of you. Now, does that mean that you couldn't figure that problem out? No. If you were to have a piece of paper and write it down, work it out, I know a lot of you would want calculators and AI and all this other bullshit that exists. But if it was a problem that you needed to show your work, right? Again, I was a teacher. You got to show your work. If you don't show your work and you have the right answer, that means you cheated. You have to show your work. Most of you could get that right. But a lot of you, oh man, you get all the anxiety because it's like you have to work the problem. right? And that's just a math problem. That shit's easy. When we're talking about working your life problems, oh, fuck. Now we got emotions attached and all kinds of other shit. But guess what? When are you going to do it? It needs to be done. It literally is your purpose on this planet. And whether you want to figure it out this lifetime, next lifetime, or whenever, guess what? The work will still be there. That's the beautiful thing. Most of you that are ditching class, that aren't doing the work is going to still be there. Whether it's this lifetime or 10 from now, the work will still be there. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. This work will be there. Healing your emotional state of being, healing at the soul level, and truly transcending the suffering of the physical being. That work will always be ready for you. You can run, you can hide, you can avoid it for as long as you want. That's what's so cool. That is the freedom of choice, right? You get to choose when you're ready to do the work. I hope most of you are ready now versus some other time, but it's up to you. So I wanted to do some breath work. I've been going through a way deeper stage of healing. And so if you would like to join in some breath work exercises at this time, I would highly encourage you to make yourself comfortable. And by that, I mean, depending on where you're at, you should, if you have available, you should get yourself a pillow. You should get yourself a blanket. And you could be either just like kind of like laying down on a bed, on a couch, on like a really comfortable chair. These breath work exercises probably aren't as comfortable if you're like sitting up or something like that, but I definitely want to encourage you guys to get as comfortable as possible as long as you can hear my voice. And I've been using this breath work now for going on about 3 weeks. Pranayama breath work. It's got 3 stages to it. It's all through the mouth. So I'm going to repeat that. It's all through the mouth. And I'll demonstrate how this breath takes place. You go in through the mouth. You do 2 half breaths through your mouth. The first one's in your stomach. The second one's in your chest. And then there's an exhale. And it's an audible breath. It's not hyperventilating. Like, it's not that. It's this. And as I do that, the first breath expands my stomach. So, and then the chest. That's why you're seeing that. And we'll continue to do that. You may even want some water. So, if you're someone that has been struggling with just being in your head, overthinking, this breath work will definitely create some resistance with the thinking mind. I'll give you that disclaimer. You'll probably start to feel some resistance, maybe feel uncomfortable. That's a good thing. You do need to maybe set an intention to ask your brain, your mind, to give you this space where you can just focus on breathing, and I'll guide you through that part of it as we get going. And you will probably feel your hands start to tingle a little bit, your chest start to tingle. This is definitely an energy activation breath work. And we'll do a few breath holds with it as well. And we'll probably give yourself like within about 10 minutes. So if you are ready to do some breath work, I will begin. So hopefully you're just nice and comfortable. As I mentioned before, just give yourself permission to relax in this moment. You can take a few clearing breaths in through your nose and just relax. And as we begin the pranayama breath work, we will be breathing in through our mouths, which is like sipping through a straw. It's like you take a half sip through your stomach and the second half through your upper chest, and then an exhale. I will demonstrate one more time, and then we will continue to just do this breath work for the next several minutes. So just give yourself that permission to just only focus on breathing. Even if you have thoughts, you can welcome the thoughts. Don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed or stressed. We do have thinking minds and they like to do what they do. But do your best to just stay focused on breathing. Let's begin. So the first breath will be as follows in 2 half breaths through our mouth. Just find your rhythm in that breath. You should be breathing in deeper through your stomach on the first half, upper chest. Exhale. Just find your breath, find the rhythm. This is probably something new for you, so just give yourself permission to find your rhythm. Just focus on the breathing. That's the only job you have right here, right now, is to breathe. In through your stomach, in through your chest, out through your mouth. In through your stomach, in through your chest. Exhale. In through your stomach, in through your chest. Exhale. Keep breathing. Just allow that rhythm to start to unfold. You may begin to start to feel your hands tingling at this time. And if they do, just maybe squeeze your fist a little bit. Just start to send your body love as you just continue in through the mouth. Just keep breathing throughout this time. Just continue your breath. Allow your body to relax. Allow your mind and your thoughts to melt away. Just continue breathing. Just continue to breathe this life force energy in. If you can start to send yourself some self-love. Think of the ways that you love yourself as you continue to breathe. Continue breathing throughout this entire process. Try and give yourself a moment to think about loving your body, loving your mind, loving your heart, loving your lungs, your eyes, and your skin, loving your face, your lips, your hair, your ears. Just continue breathing. At this point, you should be starting to feel some tingling in your hands. Maybe it's in your legs, in your chest. You're just continuing to breathe. Just focus on that breath. This absolutely is breathwork exercising. Just continue. If you have to kind of reset your lips, feel free to just take a quick reset, but just continue this focus on your breath. Keep going. You're doing wonderful. Here in a moment, I want you to give yourself permission when you feel ready, but I want you to, after your exhale, I want you to take in a deep breath, and I want you to hold your breath. So when you're ready, when you feel like you're ready, you can just take in a deep breath and hold. And just find peace in that hold. I want you to meditate and relax in the holding of the breath and just allow your body to receive love. Allow your heart to open. Allow yourself to receive connection. Allow yourself to be seen, to be heard. Allow yourself to be accepted for who you are. You can just continue to hold. You should be feeling the vibration and peace, and you can exhale whenever you're ready, whenever you feel like it, or you can just sit in it a little longer and just continue to bathe in this powerful, powerful energy that you are awakening within you. And as you do exhale, you do want to begin the pranayama breathing again. When your time is ready, you want to begin right back into the 3-stage breath. Maybe at this point in the breathwork exercise, you're feeling a little more rhythm. Maybe you want to take a little deeper breath, or maybe a little faster, maybe a little more intense with your breathing. You can make any adjustments necessary. Maybe even need to maybe slow down. Just allow your intuition to guide you, but just continue breathing throughout this exercise, throughout this time. Try and limit any pauses other than just continue breathing. You're doing wonderful. Send yourself light and love. If there's a place that you are feeling you need to put focus right here on your third eye. See the diamond light. Feel the warmth and the diamond light as you continue to breathe. Just continue to breathe in that life force, activating this spiritual being within you, feeling that vibration. If you need to, you can stretch your, open and close your palms. If you're feeling that resistance, that's a good thing. If you're feeling uncomfortable, that's also a good thing. Just Continue to surrender to the breath throughout this time. Just continue to surrender. Continue to just focus in on the breathing and this uncomfortableness. If you're feeling resistance or uncomfortability of any type, just continue to surrender. Tell yourself it is safe to receive love. You are activating yourself in a very loving way, giving your thinking mind a rest. You just want to allow yourself to surrender to this breath work. Continue to focus in on your third eye and see the diamond light. Feel the warmth of this moment as you continue on this breathwork exercise. Feeling all that is the activation of your spiritual body. Truly connecting with the divine through breath. Giving yourself this sacred space to breathe healing into your body, to breathe health into your body, to breathe strength into your body, to breathe clarity into your body, to breathe sobriety into your body, to breathe growth into your body, to breathe ascension into your body, to breathe authenticity into this beautiful body of yours. Continue breathing. Here in just a moment, we'll take one more breath in and hold. When you are ready, after an exhale, find that space, find that rhythm for you to go in one more time for a breath hold. So you just hold in that life force energy, taking that deep breath in and hold. Just feel that energy, feel the flow and the vibration of that beautiful energy that is you. Start to connect that energy with all of nature that's outside of wherever you're at, the trees, the animals. Start to connect that energy with all creation, all humanity. Allow yourself to receive love. Allow yourself to receive abundance. Allow yourself to receive joy. Allow yourself to receive peace. As you are experiencing this incredible blissful moment, being in your body, activating the spiritual being within. Whenever you're ready, feel free to exhale. We'll take in a few more pranayama breaths. Keep breathing. You're doing wonderful. Here in just a moment, you may want to move your hands above your heart space. As you take these final breaths in, just start to meditate on sending yourself love, telling yourself how much you love yourself, how much you appreciate yourself for being here in this moment. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and relax and start to fall back into your normal breathing, maybe in through your nose and through your mouth. Just allow yourself, as you have participated in this spiritual activation exercise through your breath, to just let it saturate, let it soak in. There's no need to move or do anything more than just truly receive the light, the love, the joy, and the peace that is here for you right now. Feel yourself. Feel yourself as being whole and complete, lacking nothing. And just have a great sense of gratitude and appreciation for all that is right here, right now. And as you slowly just start to come back into yourself, I just want to thank everybody for participating in today's session. If you got something out of this, know that you can always come back and replay this portion of today's live session, the breathwork exercise. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to try this every day for the next few weeks. Give yourself, I think that session was maybe less than 15 minutes, just to give yourself permission to begin these practices of really connecting with your higher self and allowing yourself to become more and more fluid with the higher self, and allowing yourself to detach from the weight and the control and the burden of the physical. I appreciate all of you for being here today. I'm so thankful to be here. If you haven't yet, definitely share the message, subscribe, continue engaging in the conversation that we've been having. And if anybody is looking for support, would like to connect one-on-one, I do offer 90-minute strategy sessions. I have 3 requirements. First is that you reach out, tell me a little bit about you. Second is that you book an appointment. And third is you show the fuck up. And you can do that at greg@resultskillexcuses.com. Beyond that, I send you guys many blessings for this day of life. I know that if you're doing that 1% better everyday journal, you're giving yourself the opportunity to continue living life with intention. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Go out there, shine your light into this world. Allow yourself to shine your light in this world if you haven't been doing that. That would be one of the greatest gifts you can share with the rest of us, is to shine your light. You have a light inside of you, as do all of us. And we're so afraid to shine our light for fear of abandonment or rejection. But there's been no better time than now for people to truly begin to shine their true and authentic light into this world. I thank you guys. I love you guys. Keep going no matter what. 1% better every day. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it.